Welcome to ReneEnergy.com on YouTube, the hub for all things renewable energy and sustainability.
Disclaimer. The following video is a fictional case study inspired by real-world trends in green hydrogen and artificial intelligence. While the startup described H2 Logic IQ is not a real company, the challenges it addresses and the technologies it represents are grounded in reality. This narrative is designed to spark understanding, imagination, and discussion around what's possible at the intersection of AI and clean energy. In a world increasingly defined by climate deadlines and energy upheaval, innovation doesn't always come from massive corporations or global summits. Sometimes, the most transformative ideas come from a group of engineers in a co-working lab with one big vision and a lot of late nights. That's exactly the origin story of H2 Logic IQ, a fictional yet entirely plausible AI startup on a mission to slash the cost of green hydrogen by reimagining how it's produced, managed, and optimized. Green hydrogen is one of the most promising clean fuels in the world. It's created by splitting water molecules using electricity from renewable sources, producing only hydrogen gas and oxygen as outputs. It burns clean, emits no carbon, and has the potential to power everything from steel plants to cargo ships. But there's one big problem: it's expensive. And that cost barrier is what's preventing green hydrogen from overtaking its fossil-based cousin, gray hydrogen, on a global scale. Enter the promise of artificial intelligence. While many green hydrogen developers are focused on better hardware, more efficient electrolyzers, stronger storage tanks, or lighter fuel cells, H2 Logic IQ saw a different path. They weren't going to fight the hardware war. They were going to optimize it. Their core idea was deceptively simple. Use AI to intelligently manage green hydrogen production in real time, making smarter decisions than any human operator could, and continuously improving those decisions with every watt and water molecule that passed through the system. Imagine a hydrogen plant not as a static industrial site, but as a living, breathing organism, one that responds to its environment. The AI brain of H2 Logic IQ acts like a neural control center, monitoring renewable energy availability, electricity market prices, equipment wear, maintenance schedules, and even local weather patterns. It's not just about producing hydrogen. It's about producing it at the right time in the most cost-effective way and using as little energy and wear on the system as possible. In traditional setups, electrolyzers often run on a fixed schedule or operate whenever electricity is available. But this doesn't account for fluctuating electricity prices or periods of low renewable generation. In fact, many green hydrogen projects waste energy by producing hydrogen during peak grid demand or when the price of electricity spikes, exactly when they shouldn't. H2 Logic IQ's AI system tackles this with predictive foresight. It forecasts hourly wind and solar output, compares it to real-time grid pricing, and optimizes electrolyzer operation to align with the most favorable conditions. For instance, if the AI detects that a region is likely to have excess solar power between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m., it will ramp up production during that window and reduce output before or after, all without human intervention. The same applies to forecasting stormy weather that might reduce wind turbine output, or anticipating high grid demand during early evening hours. But optimization isn't just about timing. It's about health and endurance. Electrolyzers, like any machine, degrade over time, especially when run inefficiently or under erratic load conditions. H2 Logic IQ's platform constantly monitors internal metrics like temperature, voltage fluctuation, water purity, and wear indicators to ensure that each electrolyzer operates within its ideal performance envelope. This reduces unplanned downtime, extends equipment life, and ultimately reduces capital replacement costs. Over time, the AI learns. It doesn't just follow a programmed rulebook. It builds a model of the plant's behavior and updates it continuously based on what works and what doesn't. This is called reinforcement learning, a technique where the system tests strategies, observes outcomes, and adapts. In practical terms, this means that each hydrogen plant running H2 Logic IQ's platform becomes smarter every week, every hour, and every cycle. Let's paint a scene. A green hydrogen production facility in northern Portugal is connected to a wind farm and a battery system. Without optimization, it produces hydrogen in blocks of 8 hours per day, consuming electricity whenever the wind is active. But with H2 Logic IQ, the system starts behaving like a strategist. It identifies early signs of a weather front that could interrupt wind supply. It preemptively shifts production to earlier hours. It analyzes grid market signals and chooses to sell excess electricity instead of converting it into hydrogen at unfavorable times. Over a 6-month pilot period, electricity costs drop by 22%, unplanned maintenance events fall by 30%, and the cost per kilogram of hydrogen approaches $2.50, a significant improvement over the industry average. All of this happens without swapping a single piece of hardware. No new electrolyzers, no fancy new materials. Just intelligence, layered over the system like an invisible operator that never sleeps. Now imagine this applied at scale. Imagine hundreds of hydrogen plants across different climates, electricity markets, and infrastructure conditions, all optimized through AI, all learning from each other through cloud-based models. Imagine an ecosystem of plants that get better together, where a breakthrough in India can help optimize a plant in Chile. It's not just possible, it's probable. Because this kind of AI is already being used in other industries, from energy trading and logistics to agriculture and autonomous vehicles. Green hydrogen is simply the next frontier. And while this story is fictional, it's not far-fetched. There are real startups today exploring this exact space. Companies are combining SCADA systems, real-time sensors, and AI models to bring intelligence into a domain that's been largely mechanical and manual. The opportunity is immense. Lower hydrogen costs mean broader adoption. Broader adoption means lower emissions in the hardest-to-abate sectors: steel, cement, shipping, and aviation. This is a chain reaction worth triggering. Of course, there are barriers. Not all plants are equipped with the telemetry needed to feed data into AI systems. In some regions, grid signals are unreliable or markets lack transparency. Cybersecurity is also a concern. If hydrogen becomes critical infrastructure, it must be protected. But these aren't showstoppers, they're stepping stones. And as AI becomes cheaper, more powerful, and more customizable, the gap between theory and implementation narrows. So what does this mean for you? If you're an engineer, a policymaker, an investor, or even just someone curious about how AI and clean energy converge, now is the time to lean in. You don't need to build electrolyzers or write Python code to be part of this revolution. What you do need is insight into how these systems work, how they're financed, and where you can fit in. That's why we built the Green Hydrogen Development and Financing course at reimagining.com. From technical feasibility to stakeholder engagement, from project modeling to financing strategies, this course equips you to not only understand the hydrogen ecosystem, but to shape it. Whether you're advising clients, launching your own venture, or funding breakthrough solutions, this course connects the dots. Because here's the truth. The next generation of clean energy leaders won't just know how to build. They'll know how to think, how to adapt, how to integrate intelligence, not just into technology, but into the systems that run our world. H2 Logic IQ may be fictional, but the future it represents is very real. And it's already on its way. Join us at Renee Energy. Learn the science, master the strategy, and lead the change. Let's build a better world. One molecule, one line of code, one smart system at a time.
Thanks for tuning into the ReneeEnergy.com YouTube channel. We trust you found this episode and